Hello everybody and welcome to our very first FM26 Rebuild. Finally we get to play the new game. It's not quite officially out yet. We're still in the beta mode with about a week or so to go, and at time of recording Juventus have just sacked their manager. So what better way to start the rebuild season with Juventus. They are currently lying in 7th position, 4 wins, 3 draws and 2 losses, and apparently not doing very well. To be perfectly honest, I would be happy with that currently. They are only 6 points behind the leaders Napoli, but of course with them not doing so well in the Champions League, something had to give, and after only 7 months in charge, Igor Tudor has left the club. So we're going to take over and we're going to bring the glory days back to Juventus in the hope of winning the Champions League. And with a whole new look UI, with this new FM, we do see the club vision, which is grow the club's reputation, increase commercial revenue, both preferred, and the current season's objectives will be to compete in the UEFA Champions League, be competitive, and they are currently reserving judgment on all of that. We are currently on 69 grand a week, which is pretty nice. Thank you very much. The club finances, we do have an overall summary of 55, nearly 56 million pounds, with a transfer budget of 23.5 million, which is fantastic. However, we have no wages budget, so we may have to transfer some across. The squad, however, looks a pretty decent one. If we have a look at age first, we have got just 4 players 30 and above, which isn't too bad at all actually, and I'm sure we have got younger players which probably are a little bit better than these 4 players here, with the youngest person being Adzic, who is a cam player, midfielder, anywhere in the top half of the pitch. He looks pretty decent to say the least, and at 19 years old he could be a star for the future. And if we have a look at the highest potential player and 20-year-old with the highest ability as well, probably, is Kenan Yildiz, a left winger, a cam player, again another player that can play in the top half, and once again these stats are amazing also, and at 20 years old, just a year older than the previous player. Definitely a first teamer in my eyes. But the best player goes to Bremer, who's 28 years old, Brazilian centre-back, 6'2". I wonder if he's a captain for the club. I don't know, doesn't particularly say anywhere here, but he has been with the club for a fair bit, 4 seasons now. Well, this is his 4th season, which isn't too bad at all. It's good to see that majority of their players are in the mid-20s, which is fantastic, and a good basis to build this club on. The season preview sees Juventus placed in 4th position. I'm not sure if I actually like this screen. I'd rather be told they're actually in 4th position rather than having to count down. But we've got Inter Milan, Napoli, AC Milan just ahead of us, and at 6-1, they're not bad odds at all. And in the Dream 11, we have got Yildiz on that left-hand side and Bremer in defence, which are the 2 players we did point out in the squad. The only transfer I can see also is a Timothy Weah going to Marseille in a year's time for around about 13 million. So as we start this rebuild, we've got a lot of things to go through. I'm guessing we've got no staff. Let's have a quick look. Does it give us a staff? Okay, let's have a look at the staff. Looks like we're pretty shy on some positions. We've got a lot of coaching positions going and some scouting positions also. We need more than 1 physio, I feel, but I think we can get them sorted before the season starts. So before we get cracking on with the season, we need to sort out a few things, including the formation, get through the friendlies for the first season, as we have got a testimonial coming up, some friendlies, and then we start just before the window. But we will be coming back after the window's closed before we simulate to the end of the season. But we'll come back and show you what we've got so far. Right, just after a bit of wheeling and dealing, we managed to bring in a couple of players then. Marco Conosecchi, a goalkeeper from Atalanta, I think he's from. Very, very good goalkeeper. 21 million pounds. He's going to be our number 1 goalkeeper for this season. 25 years old, better than the goalkeepers that we've currently got. And also we're bringing another defender in the name of Thomas Christensen. He's only 23 years old, 6'6", with great jumping reach and heading as well. But he looks pretty decent. Hopefully he'll just get the bit of game time where he'll just be as a backup for this season, and then next season hopefully he'll make a push for the first team. But he comes in for up to 15 million. I think we paid up about 15 million up front, and I think we paid about 6 million up front for Christensen. It doesn't appear that it shows us that. The formation, we are going with just an offset 4-2-3-1. Tried just a standard 4-2-3-1. We just struggled a little bit. If we pick our best 11, it turns out like this, which isn't bad at all actually. With David up front, we've got Adzic, no Vlahovic, who I might have to lock him in. He hasn't played yet, but David has, so I may have to lock Vlahovic in up front just to give him the game time, because I'd rather have him over there. David could play on the right hand side where Conchiao is there as well. Yildiz on that left hand side with 3 goals and 2 assists so far, playing at a 9, which is fantastic. So yeah, and out of position we're just dropping him back, just a normal standard, sit a little bit deeper. But other than that, the side looks pretty solid. And if we go to our fixtures, we've started off pretty well. We changed our formation to the offset just after the Napoli game in a friendly, which is a little bit weird when we're playing our teams that we are going to be playing in Serie A in the friendlies. I can't get over that. But we did have quite a lot of good wins. AC Milan, one of them. Bayern Munich, another one. And then we started our league campaign against Hellas Verona and Parma, beating them in both games, which gives us a top of the table start at the moment. 2 from 2, better on goal difference than AC Milan, who we did beat in the friendlies, may I add, but hopefully long may that continue. We'll remain at the top, and we'll go for the Serie A title straight away and get that one off the bat. I'm not sure we have a screen where it tells us Champions League. Then we've got Spurs, PSG, Arsenal. It's a great start already. Sturm Graz, Villarreal, Borussia Dortmund, Sporting and Bilbao. That's going to be quite tough for us. And remarkably, I don't think we are playing a Italian club. And then if we have a look at where we are predicted to finish now, we're into 3rd position. We're currently top, so 72 now our odds have been /2 instead of 6-1 I think it was before, so 72 now, 3rd favourites behind Napoli and Inter. So let's jump into our first season and let's see how this FM26 plays out. This season really saw us challenge for the title, including the 7-1 battering of Udinese. Cremonese didn't hold much hope either, losing 4-2. We stumbled across January with a 2-2 draw against Pisa, followed by a 3-0 win over Parma. We did, however, beat Napoli as well, 4-0 at home. We tried to get some momentum towards the end of the season with a win over Fiorentina 2-0, but losses to Como, Roma and Inter Milan really hampered our charge for the top of the table. And that did see us finish in 2nd position. Unfortunately, we were leading majority of the season and we lost by 10 points in the end. As you can see, our last 5 games, 3 losses in the last 5. That really hurt us quite a bit, as we did score 80 goals, which is pretty good, only conceding 38. However, winners Roma only conceded 25 but scoring 3 goals more. The Italian Cup was won by Inter Milan 3-2, where we bowed out at the quarter-final stage, losing to Celesti 1-0. The league phase in the Champions League, however, we did finish in 13th position with 3 wins, 3 draws and 2 losses. Unfortunately, we can't get to see them wins. But if we go to the fixture listing, we lose to Spurs 1-0. We did draw with PSG, which was a good result. We got battered by Arsenal, but we did beat Sturm Graz 1-0, Villarreal 2-0, and absolutely battered Borussia Dortmund 5-1. And then 2 draws with Sporting and Bilbao helped us achieve the next round. So we went on to the knockout rounds where we played Villarreal once again, beating them 5-3 thanks to a 3-1 second leg victory, before bowing out to Spurs 4-3, losing the second leg 2-1. With the eventual winners, Liverpool beating Real Madrid in the final. Our squad, however, has improved one hell of a lot over the season. We do have a signing of Opendo coming in this summer after his loan spell with 7 goals in 7 starts with 6 assists. If I just swap that round, makes more sense. 28 goals then for Vlahovic, brilliant. With David weighing in with 16, 14 for Yildiz. Goalkeeper Konasechi, 55 conceded and 47 with 16 clean sheets, which isn't too bad at all as we head into next season with not much transfer budget, but we have got one hell of a lot in the bank though. So we may have to ask for a little bit more, but we have got a bit more in the wages, which will help us bring in a couple of players, hopefully. So with the window now closed, we can reveal some of the players we brought in. We've only managed to bring in a couple of players, 2 centre-back options. The first one being Martin Vitic, 23-year-old centre-back. Good potential on him. He looks all right. 6'4", which drove me to him. And obviously the value as well. I think we only got him very cheaply, £9.5 million. That's all we brought him in for. We couldn't afford anything more than that. And the other one is Simon Garcia, 21-year-old, 6'2". Again, another centre-back with very, very good potential to be a Serie A standard as well. Not so much on star rating at the moment, but he will be getting there. Ignore the arrows going down. But he looks pretty decent as well. Got good jumping reach. He can head the ball, tackle mark. It's pretty good, and hopefully with the game time he'll get this season, he will grow into that position and we'll see them stars flying up on some of his stats as well. Out the door, however, Timothy Weah did go to Marseille in the end for 12.5 million. I don't think we actually saw that money, so I'm not sure where that went. A few players out on loan. We released quite a few, and we also let go of Milik. Gone to Saint Etienne for 190,000, and Perrin, our third choice goalkeeper at the time now, 2 million to Saudi Arabia as well, and a couple of other players going as well. So we did manage to, according to these, we spent 13.25 million, but we also received 14.75. So we are locking 2 players in, Vitic and Garcia. I want them to get the game time this season, see what they can do. I'm hoping we'll have a lot more money next season, then we can go bigger players, but for the time being, they're young, they can still improve. But if we pick our best 11, it's not much has changed from last season, to be fair. Kelly and Gatti come into the defensive roles, but apart from that, everybody else is where they should be, to be fair. And we've got a decent side. A few of these players have signed new contracts as well, so they're going to be here for a long term. We probably need a new cam player possibly, and we definitely need to improve our back line. But apart from that, I think other than that, we are pretty solid. Results so far this season, we had quite a few friendlies. We started against Palermo and Sassuolo, winning both games 8-2 on aggregate over the 2 games. So I'm pretty happy with that. 2 wins off the bounce. We did beat AC Milan in a friendly 4-2. We did lose to Renzo away from home, so I'm pretty surprised about that, but it doesn't really matter. But other games we have destroyed teams. So the Champions League for this season, we've got Copenhagen, Benfica, Eintracht Frankfurt. We've also got Union SG, Leverkusen. Fair few German teams here actually. Atletico Madrid, Villarreal and Newcastle. So that's going to be quite tough this time around. And currently we are lying top of the table because of that brilliant 6-1 victory in one of the games against Sassuolo, I think it was. Still disappointed we can't see the teams that we have beaten, but Inter Milan are closely behind us with Torino and Celesti as well. The Champions League, before we start, well, we've moved into 20th position, I think, by the predictions, so that's pretty good. But going back to the league, we are predicted to finish second in the league, 72 behind Inter Milan now. So we have a leapfrog Napoli, I think. Good odds. I think they were the same as last season. Have we got any players in the Dream 11? Nobody just yet. That's quite disappointing. Right, so let's jump into our second season and let's see if we can improve on last and bring home some silverware. So once again, the season started off pretty well with a 3-2 victory over Napoli in the October, amongst a couple of other wins, including one loss to Atalanta, where we lost 5-1. The end of December came to a close with a 2-0 win over Lazio and a 4-1 hammering of Torino. We did exact revenge on Atalanta in the end in the 2-0 victory, with Douglas Luiz netting the first of our 2 goals with good work down this right hand side by Kalulu, who puts the cross in, Vlahovic across, and Cambiasso to Luiz outside the area. We still struggled against Roma, who beat us 1-0. And then towards the end of the season, we had a 6-match winning run, including this one against AC Milan at home, with a wonderful play down through the middle. Vlahovic getting involved and then finishing it off for a 1-0. And that in the end gave us a 3rd place finish. Not as explosive as the first season, but we did lock 2 young defenders in. And to be honest, they played really well. 35 conceded in the 38 games. We did score 64, which is quite a far cry from the first season. We do finish 9 points behind Roma, who were just invincible at one point. Inter were unbeaten. Not sure when they lost their 3 games, but yeah, they kind of threw it away towards the end, losing out on... well, I'm assuming it's head-to-head between Roma and Inter in this occasion. But we did come away with some silverware, however. We got to the final of the Coppa Italia, playing at Roma, where it was 2-2 going into the last 10 minutes. And it was Openda who popped up in the last couple of minutes to give us that 3-2 victory and the trophy for our first one of the rebuild. The Champions League did end up finishing in 11th position. 4 wins, 3 draws and 1 loss this time round in the Champions League, which is fantastic. 12 goals, 7 against, 15 points. We just miss out on a top 8 finish, assuming it's either head-to-head or goal difference in the end. But that's not too bad. We've improved a fair bit, but we did have to go through the knockout rounds, where we played Bayern Munich and we beat them 5-4 thanks to a 3-2 second leg victory. Doesn't really highlight who goes through and who doesn't. It's not that clear, it has to be said. And I don't like this whole fixture list thing where you can't filter through the competitions on the fixture schedule. So that is something maybe that I'm not sure if anybody's reported that or not, or whether it's supposed to be like that, but you have to go through stupid menus, may I add. But we'll bear with it for the time being. Chelsea go through the beating Roma. In fact, they absolutely smashed Roma, so Roma are out. The round of 16, however, we did get to play Liverpool of the Premiership, and yeah, we got absolutely stuffed in this one. Despite losing the first leg 1-0, we got hammered at Anfield 4-1, bowing out 5-1 over the 2 legs. Inter bow out as well, 3-1 to Barcelona. Milan bow out to Arsenal, 5-3 over the 2 legs as well. There's no further action for the Italian clubs in this competition, unfortunately. The final, however, was an all-Premiership tie, all English clubs, Arsenal beating Liverpool in the end. So going to our squad, which looks superb. Garcia doesn't look like he's improved any, I don't think. Some stats have gone up, but we could be looking for another defender, possibly, I don't know. But he's young enough to fight for his place. Fittig as well. Again, not sure if he's actually improved some. Does it say as his development performance? Will it say as there? Does it say anything about development here? No, there's nothing there. Personal. Does he have a personal development plan or anything? Nothing there. Career overview. Yeah, there's certain things that are missing. Whether they are here and I can't see it, I just don't know. Both playing 40 plus games apiece. But if we go by goals, which seems to be in the wrong place, Vlahovic, 35 goals in 45 with 2 assists. That's pretty good as well. 16 goals then for Adzic as well. Again, he's improving. He was a 2-star before, so he has improved up by a half. So hopefully there's still some more to come from him. 9 assists, 10 and 10 for Openda, which is fantastic. David as well, 7 and 9. Expect a little bit more from him, but he only played 19 games, 17 off the bench. Yildiz, 7 and 7. That's pretty poor, I have to say. We may have to change formation possibly and see if we can get the best out of these players. Again, a couple of stats have gone up, not an awful lot. He's more of a cam player, so maybe we switch him into the centre and see what he does there. Maybe that might be the play and have a new left winger altogether, possibly. We'll see. But yeah, I'm quite disappointed by that. He is one of our better players. A few more goals up through the whole team as well, and a goalkeeper as well. 58 goals conceded in 56, which isn't too bad with 21 clean sheets. So again, a 7+ rating throughout the whole season. That is excellent, especially for a goalkeeper as well. So we still have a little bit more work to do, as we need to improve on our Champions League standing, and also we need to try and get a little bit closer to winning the title, but we do come away with some silverware. So we're looking on the competitions page, which can be found on match day and then obviously competitions. And it's not that impressive, is it, really? I don't like it. We are holders of the Coppa Italia, But what I did like about the last one, you could see straight away whether you won it or not. So I'm really disappointed with that. Serie A competition, it doesn't tell us where we finished, so it's pointless. I don't see the point of that. Or the Champions League, we got knocked out in the round of 16, so it does tell us there. I suppose you have to click into it and then it brings up a whole new page. I mean, it's just to me it's pointless. But if I take you to the fixture list, this is where I got really frustrated with. I'm not sure, again, I'm assuming that's because nothing's picked. Okay, but if we have a look at the fixtures, it's got all the competitions in there. That's fine. I've not got a problem with that. But there's no filter. I don't know if there is supposed to be a filter, but there's no filter. So you can't just filter through or just friendlies or under 21s or cup competitions or the league. It's all together. Also, what I have noticed, before I could go into some of the earlier games, like say for this one, for instance, we can't see the goals. I'm not sure whether you can see it here. Maybe, maybe not. No, even if you click on it, it doesn't tell you. However, if you go to the later ones, say like the Italian Cup final, you can, and you can see it, and you do get a choice of whether you want. In fact, it's not showing me now. There is a drop down menu. Oh, there we go. Goals, key, extended, comprehensive, and then play. So you can see the goals, and I think you can click on these to see which goal you want to see. So if we click on that one, so it's generating it up now though, so you can click on that. It doesn't exactly underline it and tell you can do that. So what we want to know then is what our budget is. So recruitment budgets for this season, that's scouting budget, wage budget, transfer budget. Looks like we may have 45 million maybe. If we go to finances, I think they told us last time what it was. Transfer budget. Oh, we have got 45 million. So again, I've had to click around to try and find it. So they need to come up with something a lot better than this. I think it's just, again, it's playing FM the old style for a long time. It does kind of cement you in your old ways and getting used to new ones. So maybe it's something we'll get used to, but I think just less clicking, please. What a busy window this turned out to be, and as you can see, we spent £90 million against 25 coming back in from sales. So the players we brought in Scalvini. We needed a stronger person, a more experienced, and a very solid centre back. £47.5 million from Atalanta. Surprised to let him go. He looks superb, 6'4" as well. So yeah. Somebody who's going to come in with a lot of experience, and as you can see, he's definitely going to be our best centre-back at the moment. We also bring in Quinten Timber from Feyenoord for £33 million, midfielder. Again, another solid performer to play alongside Turan, as we have changed the formation, as you'll see in just a second. And finally, we bring in another one from Venezia. For 7.75 million, we bring in Gaetano Orestiano. Not quite Cristiano, but he can play in cam or up front. 24 years old. I'm sure he can fit into the any position as a backup at least anyway. And already he's had a couple of games, I think, and he's played pretty well from what I gather. A goal and an assist so far at a 7.07. In fact, he's played 3 games already, so that's pretty good. In fact, all our 3 signings have done, and they're not doing too bad. Out the door, however, we do let go of Cabal, left back, I think it was, for 11 million. He's gone to Saudi. We also lose Koopmeijer as well. He's gone for 11 million also. And Moretti, he's gone to, again, Saudi, 2.8 million, all of that profit. In fact, we had a £1.8 million profit on Cabal. So, yeah, it's nice to see that that's shown profit as well. So that's good to see. I do like that. I did mention the formation has changed, and this is the formation we are playing now. We're playing a 4-4-2 narrow, which seems to be working. Our wingers just weren't doing an awful lot, so we'll see how this one goes. And then out of possession, we're adopting I'm guessing it's a 4-3-3, I think. But if we do pick our best 11, we set up like this. Vlahovic, that should be that way around, I feel, not the other way around. So we'll just change that. But yeah, there's no room for Yildiz though, which I'm a little bit concerned about, because I feel like he should be playing in that cam position. So we may have to lock him in there, because he is one of our better players in that position. Also, there was a lot of interest for Konasechi in goal. PSG came knocking, Real Madrid came knocking. We rejected their offers. He wasn't happy, and we've managed to hang on to him, but I do feel we will be losing him next season. They didn't come in for offers over 70, so that's what we agreed on, so he can't moan too much at the minute. And so far so good. The only blip on the schedule is this loss to Roma. We just can't seem to beat Roma for some bizarre reason. We did beat Fiorentina 1-0 and we beat Atalanta 3-0, and that's probably because we took their best defender. The Champions League, we have got Spurs, Young Boys, Feyenoord, Benfica, Club Brugge, Monaco, Leverkusen and Atletico Madrid. In the league so far, we are lying in 4th position because of that loss, with Napoli, Bologna and Torino all ahead of us currently. And the preview for this season, we have dropped to 3rd position now, behind Roma, surprisingly, who have now won it, with Inter being clear favourites at the moment. And the Champions League, we are placed in 13th position at the moment, with Inter and Lecce either side of us. Milan in 20th place. Is that all the Italian clubs? Have we got any more? And Roma as well in 30th. So we've got a good showing from the Italian clubs, but hopefully we'll go a little bit further than round of 16 at this time around. So let's jump into our 3rd season and let's see if we can capitalise on the Coppa Italia, where we won it last season, go a little bit higher in the division as well, and obviously get a little bit further in the Champions League. We kicked off the season pretty well once again, with wins over Lazio and a massive 3-1 victory at home to Milan. We did take a few surprise defeats, including this one against Cagliari at home, with a 91st minute winner there despite being 2-1 up. But going into December, we smashed Inter 5-1 and only just squeezed past Udinese as well. We finally get our own back on Roma with a cruising 4-0 victory at home. And we finished the season off with a resounding 3-0 victory, with Vlahovic scoring in the last minute of the game. And that in the end gave us a 2nd place finish once again. Unfortunately, Inter ran away with the league, 20 points clear. We just could not catch them. We had a lot of silly results in the middle of the season, losing at 7 games, drawing 10 as well. But we did pick ourselves up towards the end of the season the last couple of months, but it just was not enough. However, we only conceded 30 goals, which is the 2nd least in the league, which is fantastic. So it's a massive improvement this time around, with Inter only conceding 28. We got to the final once again in the Coppa Italia, winning this one 1-0 in the end, with a David goal in the 92nd minute. The Champions League, we finished in 12th position with 4 wins, 3 draws and a win, 15 points once again. I think we were at that last time around, just 1 point off a top 8 finish, with PSG only just scraping through, so it seems. The knockout rounds, we played Sporting, we scraped through 3-2. Despite losing the first leg 2-0, we did win at home 3-0. And the round of 16 is where we ended our run with an unconvincing loss to Bayern Munich, losing both legs 2-1 and 2-0. And the final, again, another all-English final, with this time Man City taking it from Arsenal. Our squad, however, you can see the goals weren't really forthcoming this season, but our strikers, Openda and Vlahovic, scoring 39 goals between them, 17 assists. Whether or not they assisted them each other, I don't know. Orestiano did well as when he played, 11 and 11 in 43 games, which is fantastic. David as well, 8 and 8 in his games. So we do have a good array of strikers up front. Just need to find a formation that works with them all together. Yildiz did get some game time, 7 and 7. He doesn't seem to be improving that much, so we may end up cashing in on him. I don't know. Just seems to be very, very disappointing, to be fair, over the few seasons, appearances and goals. He had a good season in 25-26, but that is about it. He's just been pretty poor, to be perfectly honest. So, like I said, we may end up cashing in on him if anybody comes a knocking. A goalkeeper, let's have a look. 51 goals conceded in 57, which is fantastic. So once again, we have got him tagged up at £70 million at the moment. So whether anybody will bite, I don't particularly want to lose him, as he is a superb goalkeeper with some of them stats is fantastic. 6'3". It doesn't say whether he is an elite goalkeeper that I can see straight away, and it's just disappointing. 18. Did he only concede 13 goals? Or is it? What's this? career stats? 13. All right, okay, they're clean. His career so far, 14 clean sheets, 14, 13. So since moving for 21 million, he's done reasonably well. He hasn't hit that 7 rating as yet, but for a goalkeeper it is quite difficult. But other than that, he's performed pretty well and kept us in the fight for the top position. But going into next season, we are in a deficit actually. We are 207,000 in the red, which doesn't appeal very much. But if we go into it, we have got a £22 million transfer kitty, which again we are going to have to improve a couple of positions. We may end up losing a couple of players. If that's the case, then we'll be able to bring some more quality players in. It's been another busy window in the transfers, and we bring in a couple of more players. We bring in Dean Huijsen from Real Madrid for £35 million. He comes in as a very experienced centre-back, 6'5" to play alongside Scalvini, who is also tall as well. So we've got some very, very good centre-backs now. So I'm quite happy with what we've got, and for the price, I think that was pretty good as well. And he's only 23 years old, so he should be here for the duration. We also bring in Wilfred Gnonto from Leeds for £20 million. We will bring him back to Italy. He can play on the right wing. I really want him to play up front, which we may have to lock him in, but we'll see how he gets on this season. Otherwise, we may have to do that. But other than that, he wasn't getting much game time at Leeds, so we decided to bring him back and hopefully shore up our strikers. And finally, we bring in from Milan, Tobias. He is going to be our right back for this season, £15 million. He looks pretty decent, 24 years old, probably not as good as Kalulu, but he definitely can grow into that position. On the way out, however, we do lose Kalulu, hence why we brought in Tobias. He went to Liverpool for up to £48.5 million with a £36.5 million profit, which is fantastic. PSG pick up Raya for £3.8 million, and a few other players going out on loan, including David, Mario and Garcia as well, all with a optional fee attached for next season. So hopefully they will get activated. So overall, £71 million spent, 55 being brought in. And we have changed the formation slightly, a 4-2-4. We're going to try and go for the league this season. It hasn't really worked on the last one. We did pretty well, but Champions League we just seem to struggle quite a lot, so hopefully this will shock the opposition into what we are doing. We've only locked in Tobias just to make sure he does get the game time, but if we do pick our best 11, it is pretty much what you would expect. Why David and Mario are in the team, I've got no idea, because they're out on loan, so they're not even available. Kanasechi's still here, however. There was no offers for him. Despite putting him on the transfer market, he still wants to leave, so we're trying to cash in on him. And Yildiz, because we changed formation, I decided not to cash in on him, so he's going to get his game time this season. So far in the league, we have started off with 2 draws and a win. Draws against Como and Roma, which I'm very, very happy about. Despite going ahead after 5 minutes, we conceded 6 minutes later. The Champions League, we've got Red Star, Villarreal, Atletico, Arsenal, Galatasaray, Werder Bremen, PSG, which is going to be a tough one, and Dortmund. So again, another tough set of fixtures, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we can navigate that. We are currently lying 9th in the table, which is quite disappointing, but we are unbeaten, and Roma are further behind us as well, having lost a game. Not sure who they lost to, but they did lose. Pity it wasn't against us, but we are 4 points off the leaders already, so I think that could be easily caught at the moment with Fiorentina and Inter leading the way. The preview for this season, wow, we've jumped into second spot, 11-2 favourites now to win the league, but Inter still favourites. Nice to see that we have got some players in the Dream 11 with Scalvini and Cambiasso. And the Champions League, it seems like we've dropped down to 19th position. I'm guessing that's because of the teams that we will be playing: Arsenal, Liverpool, Inter, Porto, Real Madrid. Yeah, a lot of tough teams again, and we've got some of them. So let's jump into our 4th season now, and let's see if we can take the title away from Inter and see if we can get past the round of 16 this season. Once again, the season started exceptionally, especially when we go beat Empoli 3-1 at home, and we had an away victory at Napoli as well. However, December saw us take 2 defeats to the Milan clubs, first one to Inter, and then the next league game it was Milan. But the turn of the new year see us beat Roma 2-1 at home, which put us back on course. Then a comfortable 3-0 victory at home to Como gave us an unbeaten January. However, we did turn the tables on Inter away from home with a cracking 2-0 victory, with Vlahovic setting us on our way. And then we seek revenge on Milan with a cracking 2-0 victory to reverse the scoreline, with Openda netting the second goal. And unfortunately that gave us again a second place spot behind Inter Milan. We did close the gap on them from the last season, but 11 points, we just could not break it down at all. 4 draws cost us really in that additional loss, but we did score 77 goals and only conceding 25, which is the least in the league, I believe. The Coppa Italia was won by Como over Lecce 1-0 after extra time, as we bowed out at the quarterfinals to Milan 3-0. However, in the Champions League saw a different story altogether. 7 wins and 1 draw with 22 goals for. We remained unbeaten and finished top of the championship group for the first time in quite a while, ahead of Spurs, Real Madrid, Benfica and everybody else, as we progressed to the round of 16 for the first time in this rebuild, as we beat Red Star 1-0, Villarreal 3-2, Atletico drew 3-3, the early draw of the group stage. Arsenal would be 1-0. Galatasaray 2-0. Werder Bremen 3-1. And a spanking of PSG 5-0, followed by a 4-2 victory away at Dortmund. So on to the round of 16 where we played Barcelona, and thanks to a 3-0 second leg victory we progressed 5-2. And we followed that up with a 3-1 victory over 2 legs against Atletico. On the semi-finals, we got to play Inter as we beat them again for the second time this season. This time 8-2 over the 2 legs, winning the second leg 4-0. And in the final, we will be playing Real Madrid after they thrashed PSG 5-3 after a 5-1 second leg victory. And it was Arestiano in the 106th minute to give us a 2-1 victory, the winner in this game against Real Madrid, to give us the UCL trophy. With Yildiz setting us on our way in the 81st minute before Vinicius Jr. equalised in the 86th, sending it to extra time, where we played our hearts out. And to be perfectly honest, I think we deserved it. 24 shots to their 12, 6 each on target. We had a better XG, we had more corners. Possession wise was pretty even Stevens, and Yildiz picking up the player of the match award for this game. And despite not being able to win the Serie A, where Inter were just so dominant over the past couple of seasons, we do come away with the Champions League, which unfortunately doesn't tell us that we have actually won it. And like I say, I don't like this screen. I prefer to see it when we have won cups on there. It's just very unfortunate that it's not showing at the minute. Maybe it will do when the release is on, but really proud of the lads. And so our squad then for the final time, as Vlahovic is an absolute genius in front of goal. He's played absolutely superb. Without him, we would have struggled in this rebuild, I feel. 30 goals, 9 assists with 47 games. Yildiz weighs in with his best figures for the rebuild, actually 17 and 10, which is fantastic. 15 and 10 for Openda as well. 10 and 9 for Francisco. Orestiano weighs in with 9 and 11. These lads are starting to put in the figures now. And Lenonto 8 and 5. That's not bad. He played 27 games, 7 off the bench, but he did perform pretty well as well. And Tobias 10 assists, fantastic for his first season with the club as well. And our goalkeeper, where is he? 42 conceded now in 56. That seems to be coming down. And look at that. 30 clean sheets. That is a monster of a season he's had. And we're still trying to hang on to him desperately. So whether or not this file save will work or not, but I will put it down into on Ko-fi.com if you so wish to carry on the save. See if you can go on and win the Serie A, which we have failed to do in the 4 seasons we have been here, but we have lifted 2 Coppa Italias and also the UCL, which was the main goal of the rebuild. Unfortunately, the Serie A wasn't to be this time around, but we did come close, but probably not close enough. And also you will be given £34 million to play with, and nearly £500,000 in wages a week as well, which is fantastic. So over this rebuild of 4 seasons, like I've said, we've won 3 trophies, and it does tell you in the biography a bit down here. I'm trying to look where the club's history is, and I can't seem to find it. Same with the records, see if we did break any, and yeah, it's nowhere to be seen. So this is the closest we're going to get to, I'm afraid. So yeah, in the 4 seasons we've done pretty well, but this is where we're going to leave it. Thank you very much for watching. Appreciate you hanging on right up to the very end. We're still navigating our way around FM26. Hopefully we'll see different screens in the next time, and hopefully a few others will appear. So until the next time, let me know down in the comments below who would you like to see rebuild next, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.